Will the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, live suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Tình chiến diệu pháp luân giáo đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc là tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Sư Chê Đô Ye Ở La Hơ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Đại Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tòa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jian wan jian na zhao yu wo jin jian wen de shou chi yan jie ru lai zhe shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Liang, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Lafong people, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Sát, Qing Liang Đại sư, sư phụ sang人, 各位出家人, 各位上智士, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Hòa Thượng Thanh Lương, Thầy Tịnh Hóa, quý vị thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Okay, today is the 21st of November 2020. We are at Wei Mountain Temple to continue discussing the Avatamsaka Sutra. We are right now looking at their preface as composed by the Qing Liang, Great Master Qing Liang. Okay. All right. We on number 46. How come? Oh, we are beginning now? Okay, what the heck? Okay, first things first. Thank you all for coming. We just did the Dharma Request, which is courtesy of my late Chinese master, Master YongHua. It's a very important Dharma that we observe and we practice for our Dharma lectures. Typically, we have many languages here. So the two major languages are English and Chinese. English because this is meant to transfer Mahayana from Chinese into English. That's why English is our primary means of explanations and instructions. Okay? So those of you who are not good with English, I strongly urge you to learn English if you want to get the better Mahayana instructions. Number two, those of you who plan to become more advanced, meaning that you don't just want to be enlightened, you want to be enlightened, oh la la, enlightened. Okay? Not just enlightened. We're talking about ooh la la. Okay? Then you're going to have to do with me. Okay? You have to go to the Chinese. Because I'm not good enough. Okay? So that's why when we explain the Dharma, we explain in English, but also we try to insert the original Chinese text for you, because you find out that my understanding and knowledge is limited, very, very limited. So that's why maybe some of you in the future look at me and laugh and say, oh my God, he missed the point completely. His Chinese is horrible. Okay? So if you need some Chinese, minimum Chinese. Okay? So the Chinese themselves, they do have an edge on us. But it seems that they don't understand the old ancient Buddhist Chinese anymore. So that's why it's equal chance for all of us. But Chinese is, for example, case in point, Master Qing Liang's explanation is so advanced, let me tell you, that it is personally a struggle for me to try to understand. I will not try to pull over your eyes. I really, really, very difficult for me, to be honest. Okay, and so, if you really want to understand this thing here, this preface here to the Avatamsaka Sutra, you better off reading it in Chinese, not English, like we do here. Okay, so that's why you want to learn Chinese, okay? Absolutely. If you are really want to go deeper and deeper and much higher level than me, have to go Chinese. All right? So you don't realize how difficult it is for us to prepare the sutra lectures. Back then, in the smaller sutras, it's me by myself. I did everything. I type in the Chinese or copy the Chinese, type the English, copy the English, whatever, okay? Now, we have a team of people whose only job is to prepare these slides. They did the research, they found the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Korean, and whatever, and they put it together. And then just the text itself. Okay, and it's so time-consuming. It is so many languages. It's impossible for one person to do it. And they have so many obstructions. Computers broke down. YouTube went down. Internet goes down. Their best friends go down. You name it. Okay. So it is a lot of obstructions for some reason. It's incredible amount of obstructions these people have. Okay, and after that you also have translation. You also have research team. You have all these things because I need the materials for me to try to decipher the Chinese, try to understand from the Chinese, and get references or explanations of Chinese to try to explain it to you in English. So it's very comprehensive, very intensive kind of work for us to put on here, okay, for you. So needless to say, for all of us involved in this sutra lecture, it is very, very difficult for all of us. And but personally, I find it extremely challenging, and I love it. Because it's way beyond me. I love doing things I can't do and make a fool of myself. And people will laugh and say, oh, he's so confused. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And please do. Don't be shy, okay? We all can learn from each other. Questions or comments? Now, the Dharma Request is a very formal way to start a sutra lecture. So we do it in English and, what did I say? Korean? Chinese. Thank you. Someone has been listening. Thank you. Okay, so that's the two main languages. However, we are an international thing, operation. So we need to have multiple languages. So far, we're doing Vietnamese for some people. And now, pretty soon, I'd like to do it in Korean because we have some Korean listeners from Korea. Do you know it's about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning over there right now? And they get up that early to listen to the sutra lecture. That's incredible. So we need sometimes to do the Dharma Request in Korean. How about that? Sang-wook, there you go. Huh? We're all embracing. Maybe in future. Greek. Just throw at any language. I don't care. Portuguese, it would be so much fun. Okay? All right? All right. Nice to have you. Thank you. Okay, can we start the lecture? Okay. Any questions on the last time? So we are on slide 46. It's composed. This preface here is an introduction, an overview of what this sutra is about. Okay, so you go to this preface and say, I know what this sutra is about. So you're done. If you only want to know what the sutra is about. But if you want to know about this universe, all of it, then you have to go into the sutra itself. Believe it or not. Says Ripley. These people, they're so Asian, they don't understand these American jokes. Yeah. Okay. Oh? Haven't we gone through this before? Doesn't matter. Okay. What happened? I thought. Okay. Anyway. So this preface here of Master Qing Liang can be divided into 10 different sections. I go through them very quickly for you, and later we go into more details. All right? First of all is a presentation of the substance of the doctrine. Okay, don't worry. He's just introducing you the titles, and then we dig into it. Number 2, next section is specific praise of that which illustrates. Okay, you see how elegant the way Master Qing Liang presents things, and you should be impressed. I'm terrified because I don't know what he's talking about. Okay. Number 3, the teaching host inconceivability. He's referring to the lecture, Shakyamuni Buddha, and his state is inconceivable, meaning what? None of us can possibly fathom what he's like. None of us. You think you know everything, Mr. Smart Aleck? Boy, are you in for a surprise. Because the state of this Buddha here is inconceivable. It's beyond your wildest imaginations and mine. All right? So it takes that kind of person to be able to talk about this inconceivable universe. So we extending the scope of our mind, our brains, whatever we know, whatever we think we understand, is going to be extended and be stretched. Number 4, spoken meanings, universal pervasion. Meaning that, whatever Shakyamuni Buddha, the Buddha, lectures on in this sutra here, okay, it is pervasive. It's not just applicable to our world here, Saya world, but it is true for all the other Buddha lands, all the other galaxies, everywhere. Okay? So this is what we need to cease to be so provincial. Think we are make America great again. Come on, that's too small. Yes? Okay? The mindset is to be this entire universe. Anyone falling asleep yet? Wake up. Okay, number 5. The expressions, inclusion of roots and branch tips. I don't know what it means. Let's move on. Number 6, I told you, I don't understand. When we get to later, we'll try to understand more. Number 6, the profound subtlety, doctrine's intent. So this sutra here has this doctrine he's trying to teach us. But this monk here, this great monk here says, whatever the Buddha is explaining to us, okay, it is so profound and yet it's so subtle that you need to pay attention. Okay? Number 7. The accomplishment of the benefit of certain transcendence. Transcendence. Thank you. See? Transcendence. Okay. Transcendental. Something like that? Is that the same? All right. Transcendence. Okay. So, this is about, there's something called sudden teaching in here. The sudden leap. Transcendence is, you transcend your mediocrity, your Filipino self. Hallelujah, someone says. Thank you. You see that? That's transcendence. You transcend your own mediocrity, your own normal self. Okay? Number 8, concluding praise of its vast scope. This teaching here is as vast as infinity. And we have incredible blessings. Interested? See how clever this monk here? I looked at number 8 and said, wow, go on. Number 9, grateful rejoicing at the encounter. Your guess is as good as mine as to what it means. But if you ask me, when I see the word here called, what word strikes you, sir? Sir. Encounter. So American. Next person. Anyone else? Line number 9. What catches your fancy? Red pants. Blue.
Rejoicing.
Rejoicing. He's not depressed, that's for sure. Anyone else would like to venture? What else? Who else? Different opinion. Sister.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Grateful.
Grateful. Very Catholic. Anyone else? Oh, we run out of words. You see, at doesn't count, forget it. Okay? I happen to side with the Catholics. You're good friends. Grateful. Isn't that interesting? Okay? This is so Mahayana. When you open your Mahayana and so forth, wisdom, okay, your heart becomes so grateful, more than before. That is an indicator that you've progressing the proper way. Okay? You become more grateful and more grateful and more grateful. Your heart grows bigger because it's more grateful. Someone is thinking, does it mean I'll be richer? No. You probably will be poorer because you're really grateful. You give away all your money to me. I mean, to the Buddha. I mean, not to me. Okay? Number 10. And general explanation of the title. Thank you. Ooh, ah, we have special effects here. You know, ooh, ah, oh. Cannot get better help. It's so American. You Koreans wouldn't understand. Next, 50. So again, now we go into those 10 aspects of this sections of this preface. Okay? Shall we? Or shall we skip it? You skip it, you might have to skip until slide number 239. Anyone wants to skip it? We're very democratic. If you're bored, because if you don't want to skip it, you cannot fall asleep. Yeah. Green.
Why don't we skip it? Skip to chapter 9.
Chapter 9.
That's where it really starts, isn't it? Chapter 9.
Chapter 9?
Yeah.
No, we start at chapter 1. We don't start at chapter 9. Are you kidding? Don't you want to start at chapter 1?
That's where CTB starts.
Who cares about what they do? Excuse me, but...
Skip it.
Okay, I have one skip it. What about the rest of you? Yes, Blue. We're very democratic. We make sure that we're serving your interests. Yes.
I would like to see the preface that Master Cheng Liang wrote says.
Okay, I have one skip, one yes. I seemed like I have, let me see, don't say anything. Don't skip. Yellow. See, I do read people's mind. It's all in your face. When he wants to skip, I say, I'm wasting my time here. Okay, so I'm sorry, sir, but you outvoted by 50%. 2-1. Actually, 100% increase. Actually, it's very good. Actually, to tell you the truth, when I started preparing the sutra, lecturing the sutra, I said, the preface, I don't understand. Prologue, I don't understand. Let's skip it, go to chapter 1 right away. Okay? That's the first lecture. I said, I mentioned a few things here and there, and then I jumped to chapter 1 right away. Okay? That's my first lecture. You go back to the first lecture, and then that's what you see. You discover eventually the intention. But as we started discussing part of the preface, part of the prologue, I said, wait a minute. Because honestly, when I read it, like several years ago, I didn't understand the preface or the prologue. I said, this is not the sutra, who cares? If I don't understand it, who cares? Let's go to the sutra, understand the sutra, that's better. That's the main thing, right? Because that's what I was planning to do, honestly. And then I started talking about preface and a prologue, try to show off, and you say, I understand a little bit, don't think I'm that, stupid. And I say, wow, this is so interesting. Because it shows how erudite, how intellectual, how knowledgeable Master Qing Liang is. And so you can take a sutra that is with the incredible amount of knowledge, okay? It's incredible amount of knowledge. And he says, from this, he's extracted this and that and wrote a preface. For what purpose? To introduce to us, at a glance, what the whole sutra is about. Wouldn't you like to see that? I'll vote it again, 300%. Okay? So that's why. And then it turns out. So I was intrigued. I said, well, let's try to read it again, try to see, understand more. And the more I read, dug into it, the more I enjoyed it. Why? Because you find out later. He says, I'm out of here. He says, so what? This is also the sutra, an overview of the sutra. Condensed information of the sutra that you will not find anywhere else. Because if, let's say, we discuss chapter 1, chapter 9, and so forth, it's one slice of the sutra you see, where this is all the important concepts. Yes, yellow.
My experience is the overview is very important because you get lost in the details when you start studying. So then if you have the overall picture, then when you learn the details, it has you have a context.
This is like a overview, a summary what this is about. So it really helps, actually, professionally. Yes.
In a way. So.
Okay. It will reinforce these concepts as you get more details on a chapter. You say, That's why the overview says this is this part of the overview. Okay, how it links all the chapters together. All right? All right. So we continue in spite of the objections. One objection. Shall we ignore the one objection? We can ignore him, right? It's okay. 50. So the first section is present the doctrine substance. Meaning what? What's this sutra is about? Okay? What is the essence of this sutra? So Master Qing Liang composed some verses in Chinese to express, to present the doctrine, the substance of the doctrine of the Avatamsaka teaching. Okay? He says, going and returning with no border, movement and stillness have one source, embracing multitudes of wonders, more remains. Oh, I don't need to wait? Okay. You guys so fast. 51. Going. Going is, and of course he composes in Chinese. That's why it's nice, because if it were done in Sanskrit, would have no clues. But this is going is from a Chinese wang. Okay, and it has multiple meanings. It has moving away, it's arising. It has change context. It also has movement meaning as well. So he's talking about going and returning. Okay, you move away, you change, and then you return. So you restore that. You're coming back. As returning, you have extinction. If you arising, you creating your creation, then you have death or extinction. Okay, the change, you from here you change and you come back, you restore it. Okay, and movement as from going is the opposite, is stillness. Okay. So he says, going and returning with no border, boundless. So he says, when you look at this sutra, okay, your mind, as you study more this sutra, your mind becomes boundless. You no longer are confined by your little brains. Okay? So what does it mean? It means that movement or going, returning or stillness, okay? No border, meaning that there's no obstructions, okay? Movement does not obstruct stillness. Stillness does not obstruct movement. In fact, why is it the case that movement does not obstruct stillness and stillness does not obstruct movement? It's because movement is stillness. In stillness is movement. In movement, there is stillness. In stillness, there is movement. It's just like God said, if you will, in deference to the sister here, Yin comes from Yang, Yang comes from Yin. Meaning what? Eve came from Adam, Yin came from Yang. See that? How beautiful. Huh? See? Yang is Adam. And God took a rib from Adam's and then created in his image so that Eve turns out to be very masculine looking or what? I don't. Okay. So, you see, Yin is created from Yang. Okay? Eve came to be from Adam's ribs. Okay? Yang came from Yin. Oh, that's later. So far, so good? Okay, so movement is stillness because movement and stillness are one and the same. Okay? And that's part of one suchness. So far, so good? You discriminating. Yes, orange.
Master, what you're describing, or what the great master is describing, is something that we don't understand, because could it be great enlightenment is what he's describing? I mean, we can't reach this. We can only talk about it.
Yes.
But that's, I think, because it's this other place he's talking about. Am I right?
Yes, he's talking about the state where when your mind is no longer limited by your little ego. Okay? It's your ego right now who limits self. He says, no, I don't want to listen to it. That's self-limiting. Can you see that? What about, yes, I want to listen. Also self-limitation. Okay? So, we constantly are limiting yourself. Okay? And what he's talking about is that when stillness and movement in our mind is moving, our mind is still, all those have no distinction. Okay? That's a state of enlightenment. When you enlighten, that's when you understand that movement is stillness, and stillness is movement. There's no obstruction. All right? Because they all belong to one suchness. Okay? And from this one suchness, this one substance, okay, arose movement, and this one substance is stillness. And it arose movement, and then returns back to stillness. Okay? So that is referring to the greatness of functioning. Again, do not try to understand. Okay, very important. Okay, before you can free yourself from your limitation in your mind, you just have to listen for now. Okay, so my original fears of not understanding are certainly justified. Okay, but it's perfectly okay. It's okay. You don't have to understand. That's a great thing about this sutra of Mahayana. You don't need to understand yet. Understanding will come later, naturally, and suddenly. No rhyme or reason. But unless you listen now, you will not be able to understand later. Suddenly. So far, so good? Next, 52. The text says, movement and stillness have one source. That's what we talked about. The one substance that created the movement out of its own stillness. Or from the movement, okay, this great thing called movement, we are full movement, you see. People are nodding off. People are smiling. You see that? That's movement. This movement here. From there, you will discover profound stillness in the midst of movement. Okay? And all that are just different distinctions from the one thing that has both, that one source. So far, so good. Okay? That's referring to the greatness of the substance, the source. Yes, question. Blue.
When I read, or I can't exactly name some examples, but I think in the Song of Enlightenment, and maybe in the Sixth Patriarch Sutra, from what we've seen, they always talk about stillness. And they don't talk about movement a lot. And they don't really say that it's from the same source. And I was thinking about that a while ago. And I've also, I read like some Eckhart Tolle and stuff, and he was always talking about stillness, but he wasn't talking about the movement. And is there a reason they don't talk about the movement as being the same source of the stillness?
Anyone? That's a good question. Anyone? Orange.
Well, first of all, Eckhart, what's his name, is not enlightened. So I just cross him right off. Okay?
Very Catholic.
Thank you.
He's not enlightened, he's not Catholic, so.
Toss him out.
Anyone else? Continue, go on.
May I continue,
Yeah, go on. Please.
Venerable Master?
Yeah.
But I think this particular master who we'll be learning from, who did the preface and so forth, it just seems like he's sharing with us some heightened level of enlightenment that the others haven't accessed yet. So I appreciate that we're going to be able to see what he has to say, because it's to our benefit to learn from a great enlightened person.
Hallelujah. Amen. Let me explain to you. When you learn Chan meditation, then they talk about stillness. Yes?
Yes.
Agree? Stillness. Why? Yes, blue. Why is that?
Because you're so distracted.
Because you are in movement. Your mind is moving, and moving, and moving. It's plotting, he says. Today, did you save some food for him? The gentleman. He's not hungry. He said, I'm not touching your food. You're sitting here, I'm sitting here lecturing, and I said, encore. You know what I mean? Encore is French for again. It's French for again. You're not French. Me neither. But encore refers again what? Lunch tomorrow. I said, I ate so much today for lunch, there's still good food tomorrow as well. You see? That's movement. You see? So that's what happens. Our mind is constantly moving. That's why people of the world need to learn meditation to stop it, to reach stillness. So that's why the meditation teachers talk about stillness, right? Which is reasonable. However, when you become enlightened, after you become enlightened, what happened? Your mind becomes still. Still. Okay? Then what do? I ask you, Guo Yin, she's sleeping. After your mind is enlightened, after you become enlightened and you are still, what do? What do you plan to do? Ask her. Give her a microphone. What do you plan to do? Violet.
Không làm gì thầy.
He says, nothing. So difficult where she came from. Anyone else has a differing opinion? Yes, sir, Green. Yeah.
지금 그 정하고 동에 대해서 말씀을 하셨는데 공의 연기로 대변할 수 있는지 그리고 그 정이란 것은 공으로 얘기할 수 있는데 그 공은 바로 이제 하나의 부처를 얘기하는 거고 정은 그러니까 동은 천백억 화신의 나툼을 얘기하는 거로 이렇게 이해가 되는데 이게 맞는지 좀 말씀을 해주십시오.
Right. Don't need to translate. I understand. He says, after I become enlightened, I have so much to do. Yes?
So you're talking the stillness and the movement, and then
She's shy.
okay, you talked about the stillness and movement, and then can we understand the stillness as emptiness, and then also can you understand the movement as a transformation body?
See, I rest my case. He has so much to do. Yes, absolutely. Stillness is emptiness. And movement is transformation bodies. It's one example of movement. Okay, absolutely. You see? And so from stillness, from emptiness, you go into these transformation bodies to work, to do your work. See that? Very good. All right? So that's precisely my point. After you become enlightened, okay? This is what you're going to do. You say, oh my God, I used to be so excited. Now I can calm myself down. No one's enlightened. Forget it. Okay. Trust me. After you become enlightened, you say, wow, I used to be so excited for nothing. For nothing. Seriously. And then, once you calm down and you experience stillness of your mind, then your wisdom opens up. And you say, oh my God, I don't need to be so excited about all those things. I didn't need to. And look at all these people. They're still excited about all those things. I need to do something to help my wife, my child, my relatives, who are still confused, who are still moving. I have so much work to do. So now they still, and they said, unlike Master Hsuan, our disciple, who says, I don't want to do nothing, which is what? Begins with an H. Hinayana, thank you very much. Hinayana, Hinayana, Hinayana. They want to do nothing. They said, after become enlightened, I'm so happy, I don't need to do anything. Defend yourself, she says. Give me a chance to defend myself. Yes. Violet.
Mô Phật và Thầy, tới mình giác ngộ rồi đó. Mình làm những cái chuyện gì đó đâu ai biết đâu Thầy. Cho người ta biết thì hư hỏng hết rồi.
It's so typical Chinese.
She said, Master, after we become enlightenment, nobody know what we are doing.
She says, after we become enlightened, I help so many of you, and yet no one knows that I help you. Oh, big liar. You'll never become enlightened that way. It's so typical of them, you know. They said, after enlightened, I don't feel like doing anything anymore. But help me become enlightened first, and then we see. No. Anyway, so it's referring to the greatness of the substance here as a source, and movement is the same as equivalent to stillness, the mutually inclusive, and if your mind is still discerning about movement and stillness, your mind is still dual, has a mind of duality, and after you become enlightened, you experience something called non-duality, in which it has everything, movement, stillness, no more distinction. You're there, one big mass, okay? An infinite mass. When needed, movement arises. And when it's done, it goes back to stillness. So far, so good? Okay, that's, what are we talking about? You, all of you. That's who you are. And Billy says, I like that. I would be no longer afflicted by my daughter. '53. Embracing the multitudes of wonders, more remains. Embracing here means to contain, to include, as opposite of. Did I hear from you? Hey. Rejecting? Did you say that? Oh, you? Oh, excuse me. When I see rejection, it's because he says, I don't need to take that from you. I don't need to do this. Customer service, no rejection. Okay? Customer service didn't say, I only serve the customers who are reasonable. Okay, so embracing is to accept, to tolerate, okay, to include. So far, so good. Okay, like us. Look around you. You have men, women, sitting with no distinction. You know, in a typical temple, it's men here, women here, women there, and so forth. Look at you. You're sitting anywhere you like. Okay? That's embracing the sexes, the genders, right? So that's a mindset. You embrace it. The multitudes of wonders. The multitudes is a lot, not just a few. Talking a lot, okay? Wonders. Wonders is, you like it. It's wonderful. Yes? It's so enjoyable. So wonderful. And that, my friend, is the state of the enlightened people. They find there's so many wonders in life. Look straight ahead. It's so wonderful. Look at how wonderful this camera is. You know, the wonderful technology, and that small thing there, that small thing costs $2,000, mind you. So expensive, you ask me. But from that small thing there, it sends an image all the way to halfway the globe to North Korea. Is it south or north? I still get confused. Okay? And you see, this small thing here allows us to communicate, to share this wonderful thing called the Avatamsaka Sutra lecture with somewhere so far away from us, right? When I first started, this is not possible. 25 years ago, this is not possible to do with $2,000. Isn't it wonderful? And guess what happens in Korea? They're so sleepy. They say, why am I get up so early in the morning for this? It's not the lecture, Koreans. It's the translation. They're not laughing. The Koreans don't ever laugh during lectures. You know, that's kind of weird. Now, you know, here we're laughing, the Koreans are laughing here because they, you know, they got used to it. But in Korea, this is life and death. This is serious business. We don't laugh. How can you laugh? You laugh because it's wonderful, because we're happy. They're still not laughing. Koreans are so unhappy. In Korea. Okay? It can be wonderful, and when you see wonders, you see that life is so much fun. Koreans, it's a lot of fun to be alive, to listen to lectures and laugh. Okay? It's not supposed to be, well, today we talk about the Avatamsaka Sutra. This is very important information. Will help you become greatly enlightened. And please take it seriously. Okay? Sutra lectures are wonderful. What happened to the guy who complained he didn't want to listen to the preface? He walked out. It's so not wonderful to walk out. My feelings are hurt. Oh, he's back. It's so wonderful he's back. Can we have an applause, please? It's wonderful. It's wonderful because it's fun. You know, it's fun. The fun is not outside. The fun is inside, in your brains, in your heart. That's what wonders is about. Wonders are like, wow, oh, wow, wow. No, wonders in here. Your mind dilates and says, wow, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Your heart beats, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And you wonderful, 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 wonderful. But it says more remains. Whatever you find is wonderful, okay? And this is what happens. It's what happens after you become enlightened. You know? Look at everything like a kid who, for the first time, walks into a candy store. He says, I want this, I want that too, I want that, I want all of this. That's what it means, more remains. Okay? Because you get closer, you see more wonders, you open the candy wraps, it's even more wonderful. It's wonderful everywhere you look. Everything you do. Life is wonderful. Listening to the preface is wonderful. Okay, and this refers to the greatness of the marks. Marks refers to, get used to this terminology. These sutra lectures will give you these new concepts which requires a certain level of vocabulary, okay? Jargons, if you will. So get used to these concepts. And once you understand these concepts, you can go anywhere. People tell you, talk about anything, you say, yeah, I know that, I heard that before. And getting so excited, lecturing this is wonderful. Okay, greatness of marks. Marks are everything. Everything has marks. The wood floor has the wood floor marks, appearances of the wood, the color, the texture, the feel, the sound. You walk, pop, 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 pop. Okay, at marks. Okay? Everything in life has marks. Yes? So, greatness of marks, meaning that all the marks, everything is wonderful. It's wonderful to be alive. Yes? It's wonderful to have clothes to wear. It's wonderful to eat. What did we have today? I forgot. Wonderful, but I forgot. Wonderful, mashed potatoes. What else do we have? What? Lasagna. Wonderful. Especially that woman there. She says, wonderful, I didn't have to cook. And Lily says, I'm not impressed. Korean food is healthier. And my husband will swear to that. My cooking is the best. He's not moving, the husband. Okay, greatness of marks, meaning it's wonderful. All the marks are wonderful. So exciting. Looking at you is wonderful. Just wake up. Okay, number 54. Hey, by the way, you slide preparers, I go through this and I have the title of the section. And I was working. I started by doing the section one every slide so that we remember which section it is, because it's so vast, it's so wonderful that it's important to remember what it's about, right? And not lose track of it. Later section, I forgot. It's wonderful, I forgot. But now it's for you to go and add all these titles. Okay, I'm to section 8 right now. Okay, and then go to 9, beginning of 9, because in the preface it says 8 and 9 and 10. Okay, so add the titles, please. You see that? You see what I said earlier about teamwork and so forth? It takes so much manpower to bring this to you for free. Only because we haven't figured out how to monetize yet. Isn't it wonderful? Okay, 54. So what is doctrine about? It says, overstepping words and thought by far. This can only be the Dharma Realm.
超言思出，回出者，其为法界于
Something like that. Yeah, even the Chinese can't pronounce this impossible old Chinese characters. You see what I meant earlier? I said, yeah, even the Chinese don't get it anymore. Can't blame them. No one uses these characters anymore. You can't make money knowing these things. Okay, 55, commentary. Overstepping words and thoughts by far. Again, do only the title for the text itself. Don't do the commentary, it's too much. Okay. Overstepping the words and thoughts by far. Remember, the prior section is about wonderful. When it's wonderful, it means that's beyond. Overstepping is beyond. Surpassing. Okay? Being free from. That's overstepping. Chao is Chinese. By far. Very far. So distant. Words and thoughts. Okay? Meaning that you surpass by far what the words and the thoughts can express. Can conceptualize. What's this referring to? Oh, be patient. This can only be the Dharma Realm. This is a state of the Dharma Realm. If you have to explain a Dharma Realm, try to explain a Dharma Realm in words, it's not enough time. It's not enough words in vocabulary for you to describe it. If you think about a Dharma Realm, you have no time to sleep and eat anymore. Okay? So that's what it says. There's only one thing that's possible in this universe. It's called the universal Dharma Realm self. Okay? That transcends thoughts and words. Okay? And what the mind and consciousness can conceive of. And this Dharma Realm is what? It's just your mind. The Dharma Realm is right there in that lady's. Look at her. If I told you the Dharma Realm is right there, the one in gray sweater, her, the Dharma Realm, in her mind, right there. Isn't it fascinating? In her chichao? 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 When you say chichao? She's chichao, right? No? Cantonese? Guangdong Ren! She says, no, I'm no chichao, I'm Guangdong Ren. In her Guangdong Ren, the mind, it's right there. It's also right there. The Dharma Realm is right there. In that German mind. That's the Dharma Realm. It's all in there. Hard to believe, huh? Look at that. Cantonese, German, Korean. I cannot tell what these people are. I'm confused. I call Filipino and say, no, I'm American. I said, don't you dare. And then I'm Taiwanese. No, I'm not Chinese. Yeah. All those things. Okay? And there's only way for you to see that this Dharma Realm, you have to stop limiting yourself. You say, no, that's enough. I don't want to listen to this. Okay? Now time. What is time? Yes, yellow. What is time? Time. What is time? Orange, yellow, whatever.
This might sound very textual, Master. It's a succession of moments.
Succession of moments. Time, successive moments. Sir, what's time? You sit in the back. I'm forcing him. He says, I'm so happy. Let these people struggle.
I believe Master Shenhua said that you can't live time because you can't live the past. The present is not possible to conceive, and you certainly can't live the future.
Excellent. Excellent. A+. Ask that woman, what is time? The disciple, Master Shenhua, see if she can do better. What is time? What is time? Let me give an answer for her. May I? If she says, I don't want to say anything, I talk for you. What is time? Time, are you ready? See if she agrees with me. Time is money. You like it? Agree? See? That's the best answer so far. Succession of moments, who cares? She says, who cares? You guys just keep talking. Time is money. Don't waste my time. Okay. 57. She likes it. Just... Yes, sir. Blue.
I was just going to say time is kind of just a way people can understand patterns. Like, the sun comes up and then the sun goes down, and it's just another pattern, which is the day. We can move on from that if you want.
Did you hear that? Can you tell where his background, this man is, his interest? He says time is patterns. What does it mean? You see that? This man is music-oriented. Pattern. Time is a pattern of something. For him, pattern of sound. Take a rest. Any kind of pattern is time. Dominoes. You know what I'm talking about? Domino falling. Isn't that time? That's time. Dominoes are time. Music is time. Love is time. It's limited, but it's time. Apple likes it. He says, my love is limited. Thank you for coming. I look at her and say, limited love? I like mommy so much for so many hours per day, and that's it. Okay. 57. Can we go back to the real principles here, please? Stop fooling around. Okay. 4 kinds of Dharma realms. Again, these are principles I need you to hear. Don't try to understand. Someday we'll click, but not now. Okay? If it's okay to. The Dharma realm of instances. The English text that my master's association uses the word specifics. I prefer the word instance, which is more scientific. Specific is like too intellectual for me. Okay, instance versus number 2, the Dharma realm of the principles. Okay, number 1, instances, meaning a Dharma realm is made up of these things you observe that arise from the principles. A principle is the theory behind it, the explanation behind it. And an instance or specific is a manifestation of the theory in somewhere. For example, limited love. Apple is an instance. Limited love is a principle. Got that? Aha. Yes. Blue.
So is it like yin and yang, like you were talking about before, like mark and markless, or like emptiness and wonderful existence?
No. Hey, Ronald is here. Welcome. Hey, everyone. He's coming from quite a ways. That's Ronald. Everyone. Ronald Pettis. Yeah, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. All right. Did you eat? Oh, okay. Give him some food. Great food is waiting for you in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I lie a little bit. 45. Okay. All right. Glad to have you. All right. Here's what happens. You know, there's a theory behind everything, right? Right? The theory. Yes? Everyone knows the theory is principles. So far, so good? It's just a theory. And from a theory, you explain like relativity. Let's say the theory of relativity, right? There's a theory called relativity, whatever it means. Okay? Theory called gravity, the law of gravity. Yes? And when you talk about law of gravity, you see that it means these things fall. This thing falling is an instance of the law of gravity. That's the instance. Or these people call it specific. Okay? A specific example of the law of gravity. Yes? So far, so good? Okay? So that's the relationship between these two. Meaning that you have the principles, okay? And from the principles, you have examples of the principles, or specifics of principles. We call it, in the math world, instance of that theory. So far, so good? That's all there is. Just concepts. Don't worry. Okay? So it says the Dharma Realm instances where in this Dharma Realm, this universe, all the things have separate substances. Okay? They have different substances. The Dharma realms of the fish, the Dharma realms of water, Dharma realms of the earth, Dharma realm of the heat, okay, of the fire. Okay, they all have different substances. Number 2, the principles. Okay, that is the true substance and nature that is unchanging, the equal in one suchness, and their surpassing words. This is sagely state. All right? Don't try to understand. I just want you to be exposed to these very important concepts. Okay? I tried to understand them 25 years ago, to no avail. You only beat yourself to death for no real good reason. is not meant for you to understand. Now, not yet. Okay? Don't give up. Number 3, the Dharma Realm, normal structure of instances and principles. Okay? Meaning that the instant substance are the same substance, marks enters mark, all those things. One and many non-obstruction, all these things, they're no, just because you have one instance here doesn't mean that it will obstruct the principles behind it. Okay? And finally, number 4, the non-obstruction, Dharma Realm, non-obstruction of instances versus instances, meaning that the interpretation function, meaning like in, for example, when you reach a certain level of enlightenment and spiritual penetration, your eyes can eat, your ears can talk. Okay, so interpenetration of functioning, that's one such example. And you realize that one is all is one, and you have layers upon layers of infinite things. And that's the state of the Avatamsaka. Okay? Everything described here in the sutra is layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. Infinitely. So far, so good? Questions? All right. And then you can look at the Dharma realms in terms of 4 of 10 different kinds. The Dharma realms, number 1 of the Buddhas, number 2 of the Bodhisattvas, Dharma realms of number 3, enlightened to conditions, number 4 of the Sound-Hearers, number 5 of the gods, number 6 of the humans, number 7 of the Asuras, number 8 of the animals, number 9 of the hungry ghosts, number 10 of the hell beings. Now, Master YongHua, my Chinese teacher, wrote a small booklet called The 10 Dharma Realms Are Not Beyond a Single Thought. I highly recommend it to you. It's very simple to read in English, in Chinese. If you want to learn Chinese, I would learn from that. Yeah. Learn to read it from there because it covers a lot of basic Buddhist, Chinese Buddhist terms. Okay, so he explains very nicely these 10 realms, where I would spend a few minutes to explain to you what they are, basically in general. Okay, there's a realm, Dharma realm, of the Buddhas. Okay, the Buddhas are the top of the pyramid. Okay, and that's the state of the Buddha. What is the state of Buddha, by the way? Yes, blue.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Very good. What else? What is the state of Buddha? Yes. Raise hand. Yellow.
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Absolutely. Anyone else? What is the state of Buddha? Not too loud. Lily is asleep. Yes, blue.
Nirvana.
Nirvana. Excellent. Who else? What is the state of Buddha? Can I tell you? The state of Buddha is the state of no thought. Zilch. No thoughts. None whatsoever. Korean Sunim, did you hear me? You understand? Buddhas have 0 thoughts. You, Sunims, have 1 thought. Yes? We'll discuss that later. Think about the thought you want to have to discuss, okay? Number 2, Bodhisattvas. What's the difference between Bodhisattva and Buddhas? Anything, yeah, anyone, blue.
Last week you were explaining that the Bodhisattva in the universal door, he had no thoughts for a really long time, and then he thought about he used all his blessings and used 1 thought to create this beautiful necklace, to offer it to Guo Yin Bodhisattva. So maybe the difference is that the Buddhas have 0 thoughts whatsoever, and the Bodhisattvas have thoughts of helping the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas.
Exactly. Give him a banana. Ronald is hungry, that's why I'm talking about food to excite him, something to look forward to after a lecture. Bodhisattvas still have thoughts. One of which is 1 thought the Bodhisattva has that I cannot let go. What is it? And Lily says, I love my wife. Yes? No, what's a Bodhisattva thought? Yes, yellow.
I remember reading somewhere, Master, that they're afraid of letting go of their attachment to emptiness.
Attachment to emptiness. Okay, that's yellow. What about you, blue? The 3rd time now, 3rd trial. Yes.
Serve the Buddhas.
Serve the Buddhas, okay. I heard that before.
And to help other beings.
Help other living beings, okay, yes. Who else? What do Bodhisattvas have? Okay, the 1 thought. Sir, 1 thought. He says, I'm not cooperating, he says. He doesn't know. Anyone? Korea is so quiet. Did you have the Avatamsaka lectures in Korea? You do? Okay, but not as clownish like this. I saw that. Okay, Bodhisattvas have 1 thought they cannot get rid of, which is, I want to become a Buddha. Bodhisattvas are so silly. They say, I want to become a Buddha. Well, that's exactly what's keeping them from becoming a Buddha. They say, no, I don't have such a thought. Yes, they do. They don't say it, but in the back of their mind, okay, he says, I want to become a Buddha. I don't care what you say, I want to become a Buddha. Okay, that's Bodhisattvas. So far, so good? Okay, number 3, enlightened to conditions. They practice the 12 conditional links. You know what those are? Read the booklet, okay? Master Shenhar's book. It's very good, by the way. Is it available in Korean or any other languages? No? Translate that. It's very simple. It's not that hard. Okay? Very simple terms. Okay. Enlightened to conditions, they understand, these conditions. They said, first of all, there is ignorance, and that which from ignorance you have activity. You have activity. You have all those things. 12 of them. 12 conditional link. 12因缘. Okay? And so they understand how life comes about, okay, through these 12 conditioned links. Okay? And once they understand that, they become enlightened. Okay? Number 4, sound hearers are basically arhats. They basically practice the Four Noble Truths. Number 1, this is suffering. Number 2, there is suffering. There is, what is number 2? Huh? Accumulation. This guy really doesn't know all the Buddhist terms. Number 2, accumulation. Number 3, there is extinction. Number 4, there's the way. Memorize those. By contemplating those 4 things, the 4 noble truths, the suffering meaning, look around you. It's suffering. Look over there. It's suffering. Look over here. It's suffering. I don't want to do customer service. Too much suffering. I have 2 daughters. 1 is enough. You see that? It's suffering. That's number 1. Number 2, accumulation. You've been like this lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime already. It's not the first time. It's not the first time. Accumulation. That's why you have a daughter. Because the prior life, you also have a daughter. That's suffering. That's accumulation. So the suffering pile up, and pile up. Layer after layer, layer of suffering. See that? Number 3, extinction. You can wipe up all the suffering. Extinction, nirvana. No more suffering. No more. No suffering. Only happiness. Peace and bliss. No more daughters. No more wife to hate. Okay? That's called extinction. No more suffering whatsoever. None. Possible. Possible. No more sickness. No more worries. No more COVID. No more unemployment. And finally, number 4, the way. In order to get to extinction, to nirvana, the Buddhists know of a way to do it. And anyone can do it. Anyone. Anyone can walk the way. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. You can do it. You can walk the way and reach extinction yourself. No one can stop you. Okay? Except yourself. So far, so good? That's number 4. Because they practice the 4 things, they become an arhat. 1 to 4 are called sages. They have wisdom that we don't have. They really have wisdom. Okay? Below that, it's no wisdom. So, okay? No wisdom. Number 5, the gods. No wisdom, just a lot of blessings. They have a good time. Okay? They have the finer things in life, but no wisdom. All right? Number 6, humans. Even less wisdom. Humans are certainly suffering, half and half. Suffering at times, happy at times. Okay? Depending on your nationality, What am I driving at? If you are Cantonese, how much is suffering, how much is happiness? Ask them. Half? Or mostly suffering, a little bit of happiness? For Vietnamese, almost all happiness and zero suffering. You believe that, you believe anything. Okay, so humans. Okay, humans are half yin, half yang. That's why they're confused. Gods are primarily yang. Okay, God is yang. Okay, they're happy. Human, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, yin yang. Cannot tell. Okay. 7 Asuras. Asuras are my kind of people. They're fighters. They love what? What's special about Asuras? They fight and they love what? Wine. Yeah. Wine. They love to drink. So thirsty. The Asuras, they gotta drink, otherwise they go crazy. And they have to drink wine, alcohol, not just any drinks. Tea will not do. 8 animals. Yes? Yesterday we saw what? A hawk. Yesterday? Did they tell you there's a hawk? A falcon, a hawk. Yeah. Perched on top of that chimney right there in the small house, the yellow house, next to the temple. Standing up there, perched up there, looking down, and on his prey, the pigeon, the white pigeon, dead. He killed it and left it there. Pigeon. Okay, that's animal for you. Animals eat animals. Human eats animals. Some humans eat humans. You. Animals. 9, so the next six from the gods to the hungry ghosts and the hell beings, it's called the confused group. There is so much suffering. Okay? Animals and the hungry ghosts, always hungry. Okay? And the hell beings. All right? Questions? Yes, Orange.
Where it said about the sound hearers, and you mentioned those are arhats, are they just really talking about the 4-stage arhats?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the 4-stage arhats. When they hear the sound of the sermons or the Buddha's lecture, they become enlightened. That's why they call it sound hearers. Whereas the prior group, enlightened, the conditions, they have to sit there and they have to contemplate. They say, oh, why is it so? And they say, that's what happened. And once they understand it, they open the wisdom. Okay, any other questions? Go Forest is totally asleep. Look at them. It's like they said, time for me to rest. Because Master says, you cannot understand anyway, so don't worry. So they're all sitting there. Yeah? Oh, yeah? Okay. The Northern California is not like us, we are lively. We find life wonderful. Northern California, I'm still. Southern California, movement. Northern California, stillness. Cantonese, movement. Vietnamese, stillness. Okay, 60. Section 2. I think I'm going too fast. We need to slow down. We're going to run out of slides to talk about. He says, keep going, man. Stop wasting time. Question. Is there a question? Orange, violet, whatever.
Master, so if the realm of the Sungwon, sound hearing, is only referring to the first stage Arhat, then where do the second, third, and fourth stage Arhats
No,
go
sound
to?
hearers refers to the fourth stage Arhat.
Oh, fourth.
Yeah, fourth stage Arhat.
Oh.
In Mahayana, Hinayana include everyone. Mahayana says, no, we don't include you low-level people. Okay? Below 4, he said, no, you're not enlightened, forget it. But the Hinayana said, oh, we all enlightened. 3, 2, 1, first stage Arhat, you're enlightened. In Mahayana, he said, no, you're not. Enlightened. In Mahayana, for your information, enlightened is that you have no ego left. So when I make fun of you, I insult you, you say, as if you're dead. Okay? You're not afflicted at all. First stage Arhat, second stage Arhat, third stage Arhat, you insult them, they still get afflicted. Fourth stage Arhat, they're no longer afflicted. Okay? You can insult them all you want, they're not afflicted. That's why they are considered enlightened. Below that, you still get afflicted. That's why you're not enlightened. Yes, sir, in the back.
So the first 3 stages of Arhatship.
Give him a microphone, please. What happened? I thought we have more microphones. Let's get 2 more microphones. 2 more sets. Hey. Why didn't you get one to put them in cereal? You have one from Blue Mountain Temple, right? Bring them back here, put it in cereal, so now you have more right away. Because you're not using it in Blue Mountain Temple anyway.
That was not stable.
I mean, it's not stable.
It sometimes doesn't make sound, and then the next time you turn it on, it has sound. For no reason.
Okay, buy a bigger one. Jeez, don't, Yeah. Let's do fundraising, buy a bigger mixer. Jesus. Anyone wants to do a fundraiser? Apple? Yes, sir. White, yellow.
So the first 3 stages of Arhatship are actually reversible, aren't they?
Reversible?
Like you can regress from those stages if you.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Green. Orange.
But Master, couldn't you possibly also regress from even first ground Bodhisattva?
Yes. Temporarily. Don't worry. It's only temporary. Once you get to these stages, it's like a high water level mark. So in the future, it's very easy for you to get there again. It's not a big deal. So temporarily, for example, let me give this you example, maybe the Cantonese will understand. someone gives me an example, because this example is too political, I change my mind. Yes.
When I was asking you about Master Shu Yun being an 8th ground Bodhisattva, but he still had the story of being enlightened, when the cup dropped, I asked you, in a past life, he must have been a Bodhisattva. And you said, yeah, so maybe when he was born in that current life, he had regressed until he became enlightened again.
No, what happened is you may be enlightened this lifetime. Okay, this is non-political. You can tune in. People have been accusing me of being too political recently, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm disappointed that somebody lost. I can't have much to complain anymore. Come January 20th. It's a sad thing for me. Imagine a life without complaining. It's horrible. Anyway, where was I? Okay, here's what happens. Let's say you enlighten this lifetime. Yes? Enlighten, you enlighten this lifetime. Of course, you enlighten. And then you die. Okay? And then you come back again. Okay? As a woman. Billy says, yeah, I know. Enlighten, I come back as a woman? No way. Billy said, well, would you come back as? Don't help him. Billy, what would you come back? That's a you enlighten this lifetime. Next lifetime you come back to here, Way Mountain Temple. What would you like to be? The same. He said, I want to come back as Billy again. God, this guy has no imagination. Okay, so he comes back as Billy again. This is a bad example. Can we do some other example? Said Billy is enlightened. He dies and comes back as another Billy. Can you imagine? No, that's too difficult. Okay, what happens? He comes back as Billy, baby Billy, mini Billy, Billy me. Mini Billy. Okay, this is current Billy. Next lifetime it's called mini Billy. All right. Now, when mini Billy is born, what happens? He's totally confused. Totally. Okay? However, because this current life here, he's enlightened already, he has such blessings where he will encounter reasons for him to become enlightened again. Mini Billy will become enlightened, same level again. So the regression is only temporary. Got that? So even bodhisattvas, they regress temporarily. Sometimes for their own good. Sometimes you have to punish them. Bodhisattvas make mistakes too, and they need to be punished. See that? Yes, Violet.
We got an example. You said John Paul II was a second ground Bodhisattva. So was he regressing or progressing or staying at the same place?
Okay, good question. Okay, please don't tell the Catholics we get offended by this. Okay? Please don't tell the Catholics. Promise me that. What happened is, in a prior life, John Paul II was a second ground Bodhisattva, a prior life, already. Already. So far, so good. And he says, I want, in the next life, who knows what he was doing? He probably was Mongolian. For all we know. Could be in Mongolia. Okay? Tending to goats. And he became enlightened. That's possible. Very possible. So far, so good? Okay. And then he says, I'm tired of tending to goats. I want to become Polish and Catholic. Why? Because I want to help the Catholics. So after he dies, okay, he born as John Paul II. Before that, we don't know what his name was. So we call it John Paul II prequel. You like it? Prequel. John J.P. 2 prequel. You understand? Okay, so John Paul II prequel made a vow, said, I want to become a Catholic and help the Catholics. So he became, this lifetime, he became John Paul II and became a Pope. And in his lifetime, something happened that enabled him to become second Ground Bodhisattva again, without Buddhist intervention. No need for Buddhist intervention. Because he has the blessings. You're born confused, but your blessing will bring you up to the same level as before that you were last enlightened. Got that? You don't need to practice jhana like we do. Don't need to. That's called blessings. Isn't that interesting? No one told you this before, right? Are you sure, sir, you don't want to listen to the preface? Because when you said you don't want to listen to preface, I wanted to tell you things you couldn't find anywhere else. Never mind, he's not impressed. Guo Forrest has a question.
Thưa Master, I don't have a question, but I have an example.
Yes.
So, like you say, I think an example we can use nature at the wave in the ocean when it have a lot of turbulence, which means the Bodhisattva deal with a lot of complication or deal with life, and then he rise up to the Bodhisattva level, and then when he did something, then it calmed down, like knowing, then the ocean is calm. And then in that case, if you rise above your obstacle and work, then you reach the higher level like a high wave.
It's not quite like that. No, it's not the same.
No.
What happened is in particular that the question about John Paul II is a vow process, where he's a second ground Bodhisattva in a prior life, and he wanted to make progress. In order to make progress, these Bodhisattvas have to go to work. Okay, doing something is difficult. They can't do. Very difficult for them to do. Okay, so they said, let's see what's difficult to do. Lecture Avatamsaka Sutra. No, no, that's impossible. It's not difficult. It is impossible. Okay, let Qing Liang do it. Let my Shishihua do it. We're not going to do it. Okay, and then they said, aha, help the Catholics. Because my Cantonese mother is Catholic. Okay, so they said, let's go help the Catholics. So this is actually quite commonplace. A lot of second ground Bodhisattvas, they, as part of their practice, go and help the gods. They have their pathways. A very common place, pathways for the second ground Bodhisattvas. They love to go over to Catholics and help them out. Can you see that? That's what happened. So that second ground Bodhisattva prequel, made a vow. He became John Paul II, and he really helped the Catholics. Look at what he accomplished in Catholicism. He revitalized everything. He fixed up a lot of things that were wrong, okay? And I'm not going to comment on the current one, okay? Please don't ask. Okay? Thank you. Okay? So anyway, sayonara. So that's what happened. So that happened. John Paul II is that he came and he got in and he helped them a lot. And then when he's done, he disappeared. And he left his disciple, who is the next one, Benedict II, I believe, who is, okay, that's his disciple. Fourth stage. That's what happened. These bodhisattvas have their own retinues, have their own disciples. Okay, so they go there to accomplish certain things. So he left behind his disciple to continue to do whatever he has to do, and then he stops. That's my version of the story behind it. Okay, one man's version is gossip. Don't take it. Take it with a grain of salt. All right? So that's what happened. It's called vow practices. These bodhisattvas, as part of the practice, they make a vow that's difficult to fulfill, and that's what helps their practices. All right? Okay. YouTube has a question, and we have to go because Ronald is hungry.
So this question is from Billy from Norwalk. The question is, can only the path of humans become arhats or other kinds of enlightened beings?
The question is not clear, but let me answer both cases. Humans can become sound hearers, okay? And others can also become sound hearers as well. Okay? It's a prior life, so you should not be stuck on the body. Okay, for example, the bodhisattvas make a vow to go help mosquitoes or deers. And they born as deers, mosquitoes, to help save the deers and mosquitoes, their own kind. Okay? And they're born there, it's not obvious to us, but they have wisdom. That enables them to save their own kinds. Just like John Paul II was born as a human to save his own kind of human fellow men. All right? All right. Thank you, everyone. We stop here today. Next time we pick up on 60.